What's up, party people? Welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries for the Oscars 2018. This is the third time we've done an Oscars Honest Trailer, and I'm sure not the last. I'm Spencer J. Gilbert. Here with me is Joe Starr and Dan Merle.
Hello.
And we saw pretty much all. Dan definitely saw all of these movies. I saw probably 7 out of 9, and you know,
we're around there.
It's a good crop. Good crop this year.
Yeah, I like doing this because we get to do little 30-second micro trailers for movies that we mostly would never do an honest trailer for. There's a lot of these movies. If you ever wonder what the honest trailer for Dunkirk, for example, like what you didn't want to make an honest trailer for, because it's like, what do you say?
And a real event.
Yeah, that's the real thing. That's the distilled version of what the honest trailer for Dunkirk would be. You get it in this.
Yeah, there you go. They're little quick hits, and there's usually one Oscar movie that gets its own full-fledged one. This year it was Get Out.
Yep.
What was it last year?
We've done The Revenant got one.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. Last year, I don't know. I'm sure we did one of the best. Someone will track it down.
I remember The Revenant when we said
La La
we're
Land
going to
and
do this
Moonlight.
later.
La La
Land and
Moonlight.
Moonlight got their own
Yeah,
trailer.
Yeah, so, but really this year's like a really solid crop of movies, and it kind of takes some of the drama out of the Oscars because, like, I'm not mad if any of these win anything. Like, they're all good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if Darkest Hour won, nothing against Darkest Hour. I just kind of thought it was very kind of
like, really?
HBO good. If Darkest Hour won, I'd be like, really?
Yeah.
But just about any other one, I would be, even if, I wasn't, while I liked it, I didn't flip out over Dunkirk. But if it won Best Picture, I would at least be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it was like the best in-theater experience.
Yeah,
Fine,
exactly, sure. There's some years that the one that wins, I'm like, that one? Really? Okay, whatever.
I wish Darkest Hour had been a comedy. That was my big takeaway. I really wish that had just been played for wacky fatsuit laughs, and
It's like rolling downstairs.
everything else is serious around it. And I would have given that my Best Picture vote.
Joe, you
had
write
it-
that movie. You make that happen.
I'm going in. Honest Hour.
Oh, no. So I don't know. It's tough to talk about this as a whole, so why don't we just watch each one of them and pause it and give our thoughts.
One by one.
One by one.
It's time once again for the Oscars, Hollywood's annual award show for the best films released between late November and late December. Only
Pause.
one of these 9 films
I think
will
that's
win
true.
the coveted
Aside
title
from
of
Get Out. Get Out was early.
Get Out and Three Billboards was technically a fall release. Lady Bird was technically a fall release.
But that's,
like it's kind of a
that's probably
rarity,
like
though.
limited, and then it goes wide. And,
It goes wide later, yeah. Like most of these were hitting theaters wide around late November. Early.
Yeah.
Most people see them around late November, early
I feel like
December,
last
early
year
January.
was especially bad, if I remember correctly, where it was definitely all in that time frame.
Yeah.
And then
well, which is sad because so many good movies. I remember last year was My Name is Doris. This year it was
Logan.
Good time.
I was gonna say
Ingrid
Ingrid
Goes
Goes
West,
West.
yeah.
Yes.
But there's always like a really good movie that comes out in February or March that
Yeah.
that just gets forgotten about.
Yeah, Dunkirk was summer. Get Out was before last year's Oscars, so
Yeah.
that's definitely the outlier for this year as far as release dates. But yeah, it is generally a celebration of movies that come out in the
Oscar
later
season,
part
yeah.
of the year. Oscar season, yes.
All right, carry on.
Only one of these 9 films will win the coveted title of Best Picture, unless the guy in charge of the results screws up because he was on his phone backstage and they
How many jokes do you
accidentally
think
give it
Jimmy
to
Kimmel's
someone
gonna make
else.
about
There's a
that?
mistake.
God.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture.
Best Oscars ever. Here are your
pause.
nominees.
If you want to, there's a great, I read this yesterday, I think it's in Variety or Hollywood Reporter, they ran an oral history of that, basically breaking it down, and it is incredible. Like the guy had been warned, like they had warned, like people had already said, this guy needs to stay off his phone, and they told him to stay off his phone.
no.
He'd been warned to stay off his phone, and he could not stay
Had
off
one
the
job.
phone. He was tweeting pictures of Emma Stone, and then they talk about when it happens. Like they talk to the guy, and they're like, "Did you give him the wrong envelope? What's going on?" And they're like, "You gave him the wrong envelope," and he just went like, "No." Like he just completely froze.
Well,
he didn't
what
do
do you
anything.
do? Yeah.
It's just like a beat by beat breakdown of like what happened, how it happened.
read
and
that.
Yeah, it is incredible. But that is just like that's the impossible thing happening. Like that is. Naked Gun literally made fun of that.
Yeah.
That's how impossible that event was.
I mean, I'm not usually in favor of like robots taking all of humans' jobs, but that's one case where it's just like just have an envelope holding robot that like can't check its phone.
There's just a grocery
Just have
store.
a drone come buzz the stage, just drop it right in their arms.
There's just a grocery store you scan that just feeds it out of the receipt meter. Just
Exactly.
like, thank you.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Maybe next
Man.
year. All right, let's keep going.
I'd watch an all drones Oscar.
You've seen Dunkirk's
little
breathless
tuxedo
portrayal
collars?
of heroism in the face of death. Now, prepare for a movie about all the talking that was going on at the same time.
Would you stop interrupting me while I am interrupting you?
And get ready to see Gary Oldman acting like you've never seen him before. In a fat suit.
He's a chameleon,
I'll
man.
take wearing a fat suit to win an Oscar over eating a bison liver, or something really bad, like being Casey Affleck.
Yeah.
Grumpy old man.
Pause.
Great title, Dan. Grumpy Old Man.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Man. Thank you. Yeah. He's probably going to win.
Yeah.
It's a career
You think so?
award. I mean, he's good, but he's
That was
not-
the one. I'm now putting it back in my head. This is the one movie I didn't see.
Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've pretty much seen it.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the better parts of that's him.
Yeah.
It's like it's fine. It's weird how things get in the zeitgeist though, that you have Dunkirk and then that movie, which is literally taking place during the exact same time frame as Dunkirk.
Right.
Like literally, it's the other side of the pond of
It's like
Dunkirk.
having two volcano movies come out.
Yeah,
And then the Academy's probably
also
also watching The Crown at the same time,
right,
which
it
is
doesn't really address so much.
afterwards, but
Yeah.
it's still got Lithgow's Churchill.
Yeah, Churchill was very much in the zeitgeist also
Yeah.
this year.
They
Love
definitely
Churchill.
deserve best makeup, obviously.
Yeah.
The guy I was listening to an interview with the guy that did his makeup. He's I just lost his name in my head because I'm me and that's what I do. But he had retired from show business. Like he did The Grinch, he did all these really like groundbreaking makeup things, and he'd retired from show business. And when they started talking to Oldman about doing this movie, he called him and was like, the only way I'll do this movie is if you come and do the suit. And so he actually like came back to Hollywood to do this.
Wow.
Well, he looks good. It's a good looking suit.
Yeah,
Best
good-looking
suit.
fat suit.
Realistic jiggle.
Yep.
Real.
I can feel the paunch.
I just wish it had been funnier.
Oh, all right. Let's keep going.
From visionary director Guillermo del Toro, who's contractually obligated to be credited as visionary director Guillermo del Toro, comes
See
a
that a
love
lot.
story between a woman and the fish prisoner in her lab, which sounds creepy when you strip the art away from it. But trust me, in the context of the story, you will totally be okay with this woman having sex with a fish man. It's actually a really beautiful story about finding your voice and, oh man,
verbatim
this
from
is gonna be
Dan.
known as a fish banging movie, isn't it?
It's my internal monologue.
The fish banging movie.
Nice title,
Yeah, pause.
Rob.
Again, I think I was assigned The Shape of Water, and that
Split these up.
That is very much my honest feelings on this movie. Is it's a very beautiful story about finding your voice, and it will forever be known.
It's
And
gonna
my
be
thoughts on this are very clear and on the
remembered as
record.
the best picture winning fish banging movie.
Very likely, yes.
That I knew that this movie would win Best Picture when I saw the fish in a movie theater, appreciating the beauty of cinema, which is like, okay,
It doesn't hurt.
like, all right, that's the Oscar reel. Is like,
Yeah.
but remember, what's really important are movies.
Fishman.
Yeah, Fishman.
Fishman loves movies.
But it's
Guillermo del Toro is immensely talented, but he's also a very smart man.
yes,
And he,
Yeah.
he knows the beats that'll hit. And that's one of them.
it's a good movie though. Great
Yeah,
movie.
Great movie. I love that
At one
movie.
point, the Fishman just looks at the camera and is like, "Do you know who else is important? Everyone in Los Angeles." And they're like, "You're right,
Yeah.
Fishman."
But the post. Well, we'll get to the post later.
All right.
Let's
Yeah.
keep going.
Set during the great Italian shirt shortage of 1983, comes a touch of
no
romance
shirts.
between this grown man and this 17-year-old, which also sounds creepy when you strip the art away from it. In this film full of lush cinematography, moving performances, and groundbreaking visual effects that removed Armie Hammer's balls from his short shorts, critics are saying it's visually stunning, transcendent, and one of the most mesmerizing films of the year. While the Peach Farmers Association is saying, that's not why we grow them, but hey, you do you.
Oh.
Lolita.
Great title, Dan.
Thank you.
It's a good movie.
I love
We had
that
some fun
movie.
with
That
it.
was my favorite,
Yeah, I don't know. The movie was very clearly, for me, an adaptation of like a novel or a short story or whatever it was. It felt very like literary in the sense that it was like not too much happened, but it was beautiful, and
Yes.
you just kind of were there for the summer, and it was
Performances are strong.
yeah. It felt like that there was like clearly a lot of inner turmoil going on that would be in a book or a novel, but this was just conveyed through like looks and glances and peach humping.
A whole lot of peach humping.
We didn't we toy with calling this the peach banging movie?
I think
To go in with Shape of Water. I think maybe at some point.
Maybe at some point. That's one too many
but
banging.
Yeah, we don't want to go too many. Into
we thought, well, we'll get. Oh, we also have deleted scenes.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Deleted alt titles and stuff like that. I think. If
I
we
think.
JT,
Maybe?
we got that. We
You
got
got
that.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
so stick around.
Great, wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the sleepy
There we go.
JT's
Thank
done.
you.
Yep.
No, that's good.
And moving
Good
on.
call,
That's
JT.
all we had to say.
town of Ebbing, Missouri, one wronged mother will right injustice the only way she knows how. Local advertising. In a film with such powerful performances, you'll stop referring to Sam Rockwell as that guy and start referring to him as that guy. You know, from 3 Billboards.
What?
3 racist inside Ebbing, Missouri.
Pause. That's our nod to the controversy around this movie is that they don't, I guess, narratively account for the fact that Sam Rockwell tortures a black person in his custody, and they just like.
Well, they refer to it in a very offhand way.
Yeah.
And the movie never really circles back to that.
Yeah.
Which I get it.
I do see that point. I also think that it takes place inside Ebbing, Missouri. And that's really all you need to, you can do full stop right there.
Yeah,
I think we need to worry more about Missouri.
It's a much larger discussion than I think Honest Trailer Commentaries is equipped for. But
True.
when I first heard the backlash, I was like, oh, is it just because it won a bunch of Golden Globes and people was like, no, there's a whole thing to it, and I read it, and there's some great points, and it's a very vibrant, healthy discussion.
Yes.
That I have no answer to.
Yeah.
Other than, yeah. It's gonna win some Oscars probably.
Who was Sam Rockwell, the guy from before this movie for you guys?
For me, because I love the movie so much, it's Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Nice.
But for most people, it's probably Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Always Justin Hammer dancing. Yeah, I
Get you
guess
the
so.
bird. I'll get you the damn bird. Moon. He's good in Moon.
From
Yeah.
Moon. The guy from the Green Mile.
Yeah, you know, that guy from the Green
guy.
Mile. The guy from Galaxy Quest.
I was gonna say Galaxy.
Galaxy
He
Quest.
was that guy in Galaxy Quest, right?
Yeah.
His name was Guy. His name was literally
was
Guy.
actually- yeah.
Yes. So technically, he was and still is Guy
Right,
from
from
Galaxy
Galaxy
Quest.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That guy.
That
Forever
guy.
that guy.
I feel better.
You've seen him play historical figures, obsessed madmen, and Hawkeye. No, not that one. The Last of the Mohicans guy. That's the one. Now, witness Daniel Day-Lewis's stunning farewell performance as an obsessed craftsman who has trouble separating his art from his personal life. So, Daniel Day-Lewis? Pff, some actor. Method Man.
Pause. Yeah, this is. I think that the whole thing is true for Paul Thomas Anderson as well. Like he's a obsessive kind of craftsman who is very hard to get under the surface of. And I was fascinated. I read a story that this is based on true events from his life, sort of, where he was sick and his wife Maya Rudolph was taking care of him. And he was like, she's way nicer to me while I'm sick. Like she's really enjoying this situation where I'm usually like a little tyrant, and she's being very sweet to me. Like, and from that grew this really effed up relationship drama.
Yeah, really must. I again, this is a movie that I really enjoyed. I do think, Daniel Day-Lewis is my favorite headline that I saw around this movie was something along the lines of like, Daniel Day-Lewis made a dress from scratch for Phantom Thread because, of course, he did. It's about right.
Yeah, wasn't there someone on a red carpet like with a jacket on, and they were like, "Who are you wearing?" He's like, "Daniel Day-Lewis made this for me." Like
On set.
Yeah, like I think he seriously. You can see his hands had like little poke marks from stitching. Like
He just sat by craft services furiously sewing every day.
Yeah, it's not fair, for other actors. Like he just becomes
The person.
that person.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's pretty cool.
It's like acting against Morph from the X-Men animated series. Like I can pretend to be this person, but my competition is this guy who just is this
actually,
person.
became
Can we
them in-
cast him as a guy who cures cancer? Just a Daniel Day-Lewis movie about this
Because he
guy.
will not rest until he cures effing cancer.
He's gonna nail it.
I like that. Cast Daniel Day-Lewis as a guy who does something that is an immense help to humanity. Because if anyone's going to get it done,
It will be Daniel Day-Lewis.
he will do it or he will die trying.
for the art.
For the art
For
of it.
the art.
Full method. All right,
wow.
we'll get this
Yeah.
going, guys.
I
We'll
like
bring him
that.
out of
It's like
retirement.
Quantum Leap for real.
From Greta Gerwig, the talented actor-director so indie, you've definitely pretended to know about her already, comes a note-perfect coming-of-age story about the most difficult challenge a teenager can face, having to grow up in Sacramento.
I want to go where
Shots
culture
fired.
is like New York.
Who has such a tough time navigating her friendships, boyfriends, and family. You'll almost forgive her for defending Crash by the Dave Matthews Band.
I hate this song.
I love it.
Who am I to talk? I listened to Papa Roach in high school. Put a bird on it.
Another layer to the epic voice guy character Onion. He listened to Papa Roach in high school.
Yeah.
I actually thought that the music in this movie was so perfect because it captures like it actually doesn't try to be cool. It plays a lot of the like dumb on the nose music from that era that like really sets it in that time.
Yeah, no,
When
she was
all
in
the
high
kids are,
school
like,
and I was in high school. and
Slowly
yes,
freak dancing to Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
It was like,
I related
perfect.
to that movie very well because that was my high school era and
Yeah.
that was the music
Yep.
of the day.
I know a lot of people were
I
like,
sound like an old
Crash
ancient man.
came out way before this, but in a lot of areas like that, like
Oh, it's
you're-
constant rotation.
Yeah, you're
on
gonna
it.
still be sticking in that rotation. yeah.
Crash had a bigger shelf life than Spam. Crash was the song that kept on giving
Yeah.
through my every year of
That and-
into college
Yeah.
for me.
Crash and Time of Your Life.
Oh
by Green
God, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the what was your Papa Roach, Joe?
What was my oh god, probably Corn.
Yeah.
We all had that.
Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
311.
311.
Da, 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 da.
Yep.
Well, you're
Yeah, my
a
bad, Jenna.
California kid, so probably 311 for you more than Corn, maybe.
311 and Sublime. But,
Yeah.
Which I
Oh,
will
Sublime.
still stand behind.
I was an angry redneck kid, so I was
Yeah.
like, Corn, he speaks to me. He's speaking my language.
That's Joe. That's the Joe language, is corn.
Yeah.
That is that's how people talk in Kentucky, right? To each other, just.
Yeah. How you doing? Feeling like a freak on a leash. Well, have a good one.
All right then.
Go. Next one.
Ball tongue. Sorry. All right.
From
I'm
the
done.
best director of all time, according to every anonymous online metric, comes a World War II story so visually beautiful, so clinically brutal, and so needlessly out of sequence, it could only be made by Christopher Nolan. Not everything has to be a puzzle box, Chris. Saving Lots of Privates.
Pause.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people that are annoyed that that's our take on Dunkirk. That was, to be honest, my take on Dunkirk was I thought it was a stunningly crafted film. But the time thing, and I get that's like, you know, people are like, well, Christopher Nolan said that he wanted to tell I get that's what Christopher Nolan said, but as a viewer, for me, I thought, particularly as the movie got toward the end, that the nonlinear narrative took the inherent power and a lot of the danger out of the story. Not that it just felt like you kind of diffuse things. Like you have the big triumphant moment of the boats coming to rescue people before you have the moment of the, the end didn't work for me because you were paying off moments that hadn't been set up properly. It just wasn't my preferred mode of storytelling, while I acknowledge that it was a stunningly made film.
Yeah, I think the same. It was. I think that across all the three timelines, it was designed to ramp up the tension across, over the movie as a whole. But since you're jumping around in time, like I didn't know when to feel tense and when not to, because I didn't know where in time exactly. I had to remember, like, oh wait, no, they're on their way to say after they've gotten rescued by the boat.
Oh, those guys are on the boat, but they're not on the boat. They're out of the boat here, but they're back on the boat here. But it's like, okay, well, but if you cut them back in the boat, but I've already seen them outside of the boat, then I obviously know they're going to get out of the boat. So then the conflict of them being in the boat is diffused by the fact that I've already seen them outside of the boat.
So yeah, and I got there, but the point is that I had to intellectualize my way there instead of just feeling the inherent, like, I'm tense.
I feel like it
which
was,
is Christopher Nolan in a nutshell.
It was the cost of like dramatic tension and payoff for. I see what you did there. And that, I don't know. It's a weird decision to me.
Yeah.
He kind of got in his own way on this one.
It was something that did not work for me. I felt that there was a need to my sensibilities. I felt it was a needless complication of a fairly straightforward story. I think you could have brought Tom Hardy in halfway through the movie and layered all of them together in a linear way just to give that same kind of energetic kind of charge to it. But hey, it's Nolan. He does what he does, and a lot of people loved it. So
yeah, a lot to like about that movie, and I think there are categories where it deserves to win.
Yeah,
but
All right. Well, there you go.
Saving lots of privates.
From two-time Academy Award-winning director Steven Spielberg, the Academy Award-winning writer of Spotlight, two-time Academy Award winner Tom Hanks, and 21-time Academy Award nominee Meryl Streep, comes a timely movie about the media resisting an unpopular Republican president. In a film so calculated to win Oscars, they may as well have just put Academy Award nominee in the title. Academy Award nominee The Post.
Yeah, this is a movie that feels engineered to win Oscars.
Yeah, and it didn't or won't just
not to
because,
the degree.
Yeah, I'm concerned about Spielberg. Like, what was he doing this time?
I mean, it was okay. I
exactly.
liked it.
But when you get that collection of talent and it's just okay, like this is like the U.S. Not meddling at basketball or something like that. It's like you have clearly the best talent in the world, and like why aren't you delivering?
Yeah. Part of it was just I felt like because it was a very rushed timeline. I mean, he put this thing together. He's like, I have to make this movie right now, and so he got everybody because he's Steven Spielberg. But there were things that I felt like were kind of like he leaned into, like John Williams, because there's like the da 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 da, but it's like it's a newspaper machine running. I don't feel that, and it's that John Williams whimsy. It's like is there an alien that's going to pass by on a bicycle? Like I don't need that whimsy. Is not the emotion I'm looking for right now.
Newspapers.
And then I hated the spoiler alert for history. I hated the setup of like, I couldn't go through this again. It's just like, all right, I get it. Watergate.
It felt like equally rushed and slept through. If that makes it like weird, like manically rushed, but then also he was completely asleep at the wheel, which is a weird like I don't know.
I enjoyed it, but again, at the same time, it just felt like
Yeah, I mean, Spielberg asleep at the wheel is still going to be an all right movie, but
well. Obviously, you've not seen the BFG.
I have not.
Don't. But it seems kind of like I got to get. It was Spielberg's version of Mother. He had to get it out of his system, and the way that he does it is just whimsy and Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep.
Fair enough.
John Williams.
Yeah, we should all be so lucky. Are we worried about Spielberg? I think
tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
We'll see how Ready Player One.
Ready
is.
Player One, I think, will be a kind of a watershed.
It's going to be a big moment.
So what we're saying is we're worried about Spielberg.
What's that?
So what we're saying is we're worried about.
I'm not.
I think that the Ready Player One will be like kind of a bellwether movie for where he's at in his career.
I'm cashing my chips on.
Okay. All right.
I think it looks fun. We'll see.
Yeah. Great job on the talent treatment.
From the production company that's gone from the Teen Choice Awards to the Academy Awards comes the directing debut of the player formerly known as Mouse Cop in a horror thriller that holds a mirror up to smug, affluent white progressives. In other words, the Academy? Well, it's an honor just to be nominated, right, guys? Let the white ones in.
This has I think, an outside chance of getting Best Picture. I actually think that this is probably the, forgive the phrase, dark horse. Like, this is the, probably the second most likely for me.
I could
Shape of Water.
see a reality where it does.
Yeah.
It would be third or fourth on my list, I think. It would probably go, ironically, Shape of Water, 3 Billboards, and then maybe this movie. But I could see a reality. Yeah, I could see that happening, where if the vote is scattered everywhere, which it conceivably could be, that get out.
But this will be at the top of everyone's, near the top of everyone's list. And isn't that how they do it? It's ranked in preference.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
have to.
pick
Yeah,
one.
it's not pick one anymore. You have to rank them, and then there are certain points that are assigned to how highly a movie is ranked. So that's kind of the engineer behind. Yeah, exactly. Moonlight probably potentially won last year because it was a close race between that and La La Land. It's very possible that it won because it had a lot of 2 votes and La La Land had some 3s or 4s, and that just edged out over the top. I think it's a good way of doing things. Instead of pick one, you're actually ranking it on degree of preference, which is, I think, a good thing.
I think it has a chance just because the fact that it came out before the ceremony last year, and it was even nominated at all. Like, that's the staying power of Get Out. It's had a re-release. It's stayed in the conversation. So yeah, I see it as a solid possible winner.
Right. I just think that sure, in the world at large, I don't even want to say love or hate it. Everybody loves it, and especially in the Academy, like this is a movie that everybody that's a filmmaker or in the filmmaking community likes and respects.
Well, that and to speak to the cynical branch of the Academy, and it exists, it is the perfect hybrid of a movie that is actually really very good, and also would make them look very hip
good.
and progressive on a cultural level, in the sense that, like, you know, they would get a lot of pats on the back from people, and I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it, because if Get Out won Best Picture, that'd be great. I would love to see, not just because Get Out is a great movie just for its message and what it says, but because it's just a great, and I love seeing a genre movie that can actually succeed. But
and
it would
it
also have the added effect for Academy members of people going like, look at how with it you are. You gave Get Out Best Picture.
And it's also a year where
nominate it
there
twice if I
isn't,
could.
it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be an upset because there's no clear favorite.
There's really not, which I love. I love when there's no clear Best Picture favorite. Two years ago,
I don't like it so much because like I like rooting for and against films, but this time I'm just like, they're all good.
I was
It
rooting
just
for
doesn't
Mad
feel right
Max
for
2
me.
years ago. And
Yeah.
I thought it might pull it off because it won so many. And
Yeah.
but I like Spotlight, and I was just glad The Revenant didn't win.
Yes, that was my one. I was like,
I just
no,
don't want The
Revenant!
Revenant
Yeah.
to win.
Come on.
We get it. The sun sets. It happens every day.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Guy's never been outside. All right, let's keep going.
Starring. The following comic book movies
Oh,
that nerds
should we
think were
pause for a
snubbed in the
second?
We
categories that
should.
should have been nominated for.
Should we pull the curtain back on this?
Yeah.
Well,
We had an idea that didn't work out.
yeah.
Um,
We were going to have a special guest
yeah.
who couldn't, for scheduling reasons, appear, but will perhaps be working with us in the future on something else.
Hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
So this was kind of not last minute, because you'd written this as a backup, but we had to kind of implement this at the last minute because we had to make an alternate plan toward what the ending was going to be. It was a very different ending, but
Yeah.
and one that we were excited about, but it's one of those things that just couldn't happen, which I think we'll be able to talk more about once we do the other things.
Yeah,
that
let's
we were gonna
let's
do.
save the surprise because we will be working with this person shortly in the future.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back maybe next week, maybe the week after to tell you who that was and what happened.
What happened, yeah.
So you've been teased.
Maybe we can do a staged reading of the
Oh,
script
yeah.
that we wrote.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh,
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
It's a teaser.
Watch our B material.
Thor Ragnarok for Best Goldblum. Wonder Woman for Best 2/3 of a Movie. Justice League for Best Picture, but only the Snyder Cut. Logan for Best Picture for people who only saw comic book movies last year. Guardians 2 for Best Movie
Really
you
throwing a lot
enjoyed
of-
then immediately forgot
lot of shade
about.
at comic book movies.
Spider-Man Homecoming
It's a bread and butter,
for
guys.
Best Lack of an Origin Story. And Guardians for Best Russian Superhero Movie I only saw a trailer for, but holy shit, one of them turns into a bear? How'd I miss this one? The Oscars. Man, with all the sexual harassment exposed this year, this is going to be a really sensitive, emotional ceremony. Take it away, host of The Man Show.
Well, you guys excited about seeing a few girls jump on trampolines?
Wow, different time.
Different time.
Time of Max and Mag and
Yeah.
Spike TV.
Spike TV and
The Man Show.
The Man Show.
Yeah.
A weird show.
Yeah. What a time to be 14. But if
I know.
anything older than
Unfortunately,
that,
yeah, no.
What
good.
if Kimmel and Corolla had like switched career trajectories, and like Corolla was now the guy with a late night show, like yelling
Yeah.
at Trump every night and hosting the Academy Awards?
And
And
Kimmel
Kimmel
was
was
like,
building-
here's what I don't like about Mexican people.
Yeah.
Oh, Corolla.
He
You
was
were funny
building
on
tables.
Loveline. What happened?
Yeah. He was building tables live on TV last time I saw him. I don't know what the show was. It was like literally like Adam Carolla builds tables with his friends, and they were just
Okay.
building stuff.
I want to
on
get to a
TV.
point in
I
my
don't know.
career where someone's like, "You got a project in mind?" And I'm like, "I want to build a table with some friends of mine," and they're like,
On national television.
"Deal,
Live.
live."
I'm serious. Like nothing's more fascinating than
Live studio
live
audience.
furniture
Carpentry.
construction.
Live carpentry.
Yeah.
What skill would you demonstrate live on a late night talk show?
Oh man, I would try to learn to dance. I would try to ballroom dance.
It's good.
Yeah. All right. I won't ask you, Dan. I know you know.
I'm not good on my
You
feet.
would, yeah.
So you would not try to ballroom dance?
No, I would not see. There you
Let's
go.
watch some deleted scenes.
Yes.
Critics are saying it's visually stunning, transcendent, and one of the most mesmerizing films of the year. And audiences say, oh yeah, isn't that the movie where Armie Hammer dances? That movie where Armie Hammer dances.
Yeah, that's right.
Italian Pie. Featuring a lead performance so good, there's no way you'll ever pronounce Saoirse Ronan's name wrong ever again. Ah, I just did it again, didn't I?
Played out joke.
Dang
Yeah,
it!
we've done that a few times.
Call me by your nickname.
I like that one.
Golden State.
Yeah.
Castaway.
Huh?
What?
The Nutty Prime Minister. Old Yeller.
It's a good one too.
Yeah.
The most.
Most.
Oscar winners in one movie. We want
Even
all
the
of
titles
the
look
Oscars.
rushed. You're like, Ariel.
Yeah, Ariel font.
Kill Billboards.
That was
a
good.
revenge
Fargo
movie.
2. This time, it's
like that.
Kind
personal.
of like that one.
Boat Trip. Dunkirk Rises.
Yeah.
Boat Trip may have been the one to go with.
Yeah. Boat trip.
Like Boat
Trip.
That's pretty good.
Oh well.
The thing we didn't call out in Dunkirk was I was just so impressed by British people's ability to stay in line, or queue, if you will,
To
no
queue
matter
up.
what was going
Yeah.
on around
Queue.
them. There's literally bombs exploding, and they're like,
Well,
yep, just stick with it.
Right, lads. One after the other.
I've got to donate this sack of aluminium.
Oh no, not again.
No, Joe.
Don't say the word. They're out there, and they are grammatical. All right, guys.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
We've done
The
this.
Oscars.
Yeah.
I hope we do it again next year. We're probably not going to do the Emmys again because that was our lowest rated Honest Trailer.
It was.
But I like doing these mini ones. They're fun.
They are fun.
Little quick hits.
Jabs.
Yeah, maybe we'll start doing mini Honest Trailers. It'll be a lot less work for us.
It would be, really. It would cut our workload in like a third.
So, like,
Yeah.
here's the 4 movies that came out in January.
yeah.
Got it.
But sucks for the editors.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, really hard on Robert Holtby, our graphics guy, and super hard on the editors. So
Yeah.
our gain would be their loss, or vice versa. So, but hey, whatever.
Hey, whatever. You guys are great. And you
Get
guys
back
are great.
to it, Robert.
Get back to it. But you watching are great. Hope you join us next week for something that's going to really rock.